Most people never learn the danger of looking down on the wrong person, not until life forces them to. And on this warm Tuesday afternoon, standing at the edge of a perfectly manicured mansion in the hills, a quiet black gardener named Marcus Johnson was about to witness a moment he would remember for the rest of his life. A moment where cruelty, entitlement, and humiliation collided, and then flipped in the most unexpected way. Because sometimes, God lets the proud fall, and this is one of those stories. Marcus wiped sweat from his forehead as he trimmed the rose bushes near the fountain. He'd been working for the Kensington family's estate for 6 months. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest work, and after losing his job at a manufacturing plant, it was the only thing keeping food on the table. He was soft-spoken, gentle, and always respectful, which made the way Eleanor Kensington, the lady of the house, treated him even more painful. Eleanor was wealthy, old money wealthy. Pearls around her neck, diamonds on her wrists, and an attitude sharp enough to slice stone. She never used Marcus's name, just called him "you people" or "the help." On this day, she walked out onto the patio with her oversized sunglasses, holding a cup of iced tea she likely didn't even make herself. "You missed a spot." Her voice struck the air like cold steel. Marcus looked up quietly. "Ma'am, I'm finishing this side first. I'll get the rest." The woman scoffed. "I didn't ask for excuses. Honestly, I don't know why my husband insists on hiring people like you. I've seen snails move faster." Marcus swallowed the sting in his throat. "I'm doing my best, ma'am." "Oh please," she laughed bitterly, "your best is barely acceptable. If you people weren't so lazy, you'd have better jobs than kneeling in other people's yards." She waved her hand dismissively. "Do try not to embarrass yourself today." Marcus froze. He had been insulted before, sometimes directly, sometimes quietly, but this one cut deep. And the worst part was that she stood there smiling, pleased with herself. A moment later, she stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Look at you. Sweating everywhere. Touching my hedges with those hands. Ugh." She reached into her purse and pulled out a hand sanitizer bottle, squeezing it dramatically into her palms. "You know what? Don't speak to me anymore. I hate when the help tries to be friendly. Just do what you're paid to do and stay quiet." Marcus felt heat rise in his chest. He turned away, gripping his shears tightly. He needed this job. He wouldn't fight back. Not today. But as God would have it, someone else heard everything. And that someone was closer than Eleanor realized. A car engine approached from the driveway, and Marcus looked up to see a sleek black SUV. The driver stepped out, tall, early 50s, calm eyes, expensive watch. Mr. Arthur Kensington. The husband. The actual owner of the estate. Eleanor perked up instantly, switching her entire personality like a light switch. "Oh, Arthur, darling," she called out, her voice suddenly sweet as syrup. "You're home early." Arthur didn't smile back. His expression was serious, almost cold. "I could hear your voice from the driveway," he said slowly. Sounded tense. Eleanor laughed nervously. "Oh, it's nothing. Just the gardener being incompetent again. Honestly, I don't even know why you hired him. I keep telling you, these people." Arthur raised a hand sharply. "Eleanor, stop talking." Silence fell over the patio. She blinked rapidly, shocked at the tone. Then Arthur turned to Marcus, and something changed in his face. Respect. Recognition. Even warmth. "Marcus," he said, stepping closer, "it's good to see you." Eleanor turned. "Wait, you know his name?" Arthur stared at her. "Of course, I know his name. Marcus isn't just our gardener. He's the man who volunteered at the Veterans Community Center last year when our funding fell through. He's the one who helped rebuild those old benches. I met him there." Eleanor's mouth fell open. "And if you had taken 5 minutes to speak to him like a human being," Arthur continued, "you would know he's also a certified landscaper with top reviews. He takes pride in his work." She stammered. "Well? I didn't know." He looked. "Like what?" Arthur asked sharply. Eleanor froze, unable to answer. Arthur turned back to Marcus. "If she insulted you, I want to hear it directly." Marcus hesitated. "Sir, I don't want trouble." "I'm asking," Arthur insisted gently. Marcus breathed out. "She called me lazy. Said you people. Told me not to speak to her anymore. And said my hands weren't clean enough to touch her bushes." Arthur clenched his jaw. Eleanor stepped backward. "Arthur, it's not what he..." Arthur cut her off. "Eleanor, every time I come home, I hear you mistreat someone. The maids, the drivers, the pool staff, and now Marcus? I'm tired." Her voice shook. "You're believing him over me?" "Yes," Arthur said quietly. "Because he treats people with more dignity in 5 minutes than you've shown in 10 years." Eleanor's face turned red. Arthur, don't you dare embarrass me in front of the help. Arthur looked at Marcus again. Marcus, do you want to continue working here? If not, I'll personally recommend you to 3 estates that pay double. Eleanor gasped. What? Arthur, you're not serious. Marcus swallowed. Sir? I like my job. I like the garden. I just want to be treated fairly. Arthur nodded. Then hear this. He turned back to his wife. From today forward, you will no longer speak to Marcus unless it is with respect. If you cannot manage that, you will leave the patio, not him. Eleanor sputtered, furious and humiliated. But Arthur wasn't done. He walked closer, lowering his voice. And Eleanor, there's something else we need to discuss. Something I found out today. Something you've been hiding. Her face was drained of color. Marcus blinked. Arthur stood still, his voice heavy, cold, final. After this conversation, everything in this house is about to change. For a long moment, nobody moved. The wind rustled through the rose bushes. A bird chirped somewhere in the oak tree. But on that patio, silence weighed heavier than stone. Eleanor Kensington stood frozen, her fingers trembling around her iced tea glass. Marcus felt his heart thump in his chest, unsure if he should stay or quietly disappear. And Arthur? Arthur stared at his wife like a man who finally stopped pretending. Arthur, whatever you think you know, she whispered, voice quivering. Arthur didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Eleanor. Don't lie to me. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a thin envelope, creased from being held too tightly. He let it fall onto the patio table. It hit the surface with a soft thud, but Eleanor reacted as if it were a gunshot. Her entire body stiffened. Marcus stayed silent, uneasy, unsure if he was witnessing something he shouldn't. Arthur's tone cut the air calm and sharp. These came in the mail this morning. Eleanor swallowed hard. Arthur, I can explain. You'll get your turn, he said. But first, Marcus deserves context. He deserves to know why you've been lashing out at every working person who steps on this property. Eleanor's face went pale. No, he doesn't need to. Arthur ignored her. He opened the envelope and pulled out a stack of papers. Bank documents, he said quietly. And credit statements. Eleanor looked down, closed her eyes, and whispered, Arthur, please. Marcus's stomach nodded. He wasn't sure he wanted to be in the middle of this, but something deeper told him this moment wasn't just about marriage trouble. It was about character, about the way people treat others when they believe they'll never be held accountable. Arthur continued. For the last 6 months, Eleanor has been withdrawing money. Not small amounts, hundreds of thousands. Disguised as charity donations and home maintenance. Eleanor stumbled forward. I wasn't stealing. I was trying to fix things. Arthur raised an eyebrow. Fix what? Her voice cracked. My reputation. Marcus looked at her, confused. Your reputation, ma'am? Eleanor's eyes burned with shame and anger. You think I act like this because I'm just some monster? She snapped. You don't know what it's like to walk into a room and feel people judging everything you wear, everything you say, waiting for you to slip. My family expects perfection. My friends expect status. And when I married Arthur, everyone said I wasn't good enough for him. Arthur shot her a look of disbelief. And stealing from our accounts was your solution? She shook her head rapidly. I wasn't stealing. I was donating. Hosting charity events. Trying to look important. Trying to look like I belonged in this world of people with real money, real status. Her voice trembled. You think those elite women you golf with actually like me? They don't. They smile when I'm there, but the moment I walk away they whisper, they compare, they say I don't fit. Arthur stared at her quietly. Marcus could see something shifting in him, disappointment, maybe, but also sadness. Eleanor continued, voice breaking. So yes, I spent money. Too much. Because I was tired of being laughed at. Tired of feeling small. Tired of pretending I belonged. And the only way I could still feel powerful, was to make others feel smaller than me. She covered her face. It was wrong. I know it was wrong. Marcus exhaled softly. This woman who had just insulted him, demeaned him, and mocked him, was now unraveling right in front of him. But Arthur's expression hardened again. Eleanor, he said, being insecure doesn't excuse cruelty. You belittle people who work for a living, people who earn every dollar with dignity, because you needed to feel above someone. Eleanor collapsed into a chair. I never meant to hurt anyone. Arthur shook his head. You hurt everyone. And now, the bank wants answers. My accountants want answers. And I want answers. Marcus stepped back. Sir, maybe I should go. This is between you two. Arthur looked at him. Marcus, no. Stay. Eleanor lifted her head. Why? Why him? Why does the gardener need to hear our marriage problems? Arthur's voice softened. Because he's the first person you wronged today. The first person you belittled out of your own pain. And sometimes the road to accountability starts with the person you hurt. Eleanor looked at Marcus, really looked at him, and for the first time, there was no arrogance in her eyes, only fear and shame. I'm sorry, she whispered. Marcus nodded slowly but didn't speak. He didn't need to. Arthur took a breath, steadying himself. Eleanor, you have two options. We call a lawyer and handle this legally. He paused, letting the weight settle. Or you come clean tonight. Publicly. To the board, to our staff, to your friends. Eleanor's eyes widened in horror. You can't make me do that. You're right, Arthur said quietly. I can't force you. But integrity will. Eleanor grabbed his arm desperately. Arthur, please. If this gets out, they'll destroy me. Arthur looked at her with a sadness Marcus couldn't ignore. Eleanor, you've already destroyed yourself. She broke down sobbing into her hands. Marcus felt a knot in his throat. He didn't expect to pity her, not after everything, but pain has a way of stripping people bare, revealing the humanity underneath. Arthur turned to him again. Marcus, thank you for your patience. I know this is uncomfortable. But I want you to know, things here will change. Marcus nodded. I appreciate that, sir. As he picked up his tools, ready to step away from the patio, Arthur added. Oh, Marcus. Yes, sir? There's something else. Something the accountant found this morning. Something even I didn't know. He glanced toward Eleanor, whose crying suddenly stopped. It seems someone has been using my name, on accounts I never opened. Money transferred under signatures I don't recognize. His jaw tightened. And the trail doesn't end with Eleanor. Marcus frowned. If not her, then who? Arthur looked back toward the mansion, his eyes locked on one of the upstairs windows. That, he said quietly, is what I intend to find out next.